Welcome to a new episode of Sleep Journey Through Lost Worlds, your podcast for relaxing, letting go, and learning. Are you familiar with our other Sleep Journey series, such as Sleep Journey Through the Universe? Tonight, we travel together to one of humanity's most enigmatic monuments, a place where stone and sky have met for over 4,000 years. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let yourself drift into the ancient landscape of Salisbury Plain in southern England, where Stonehenge stands as a testament to human ingenuity, astronomical knowledge, and spiritual devotion. Picture yourself standing on the gently rolling chalk grasslands of Wiltshire, just as the first light of dawn begins to paint the horizon in shades of amber and rose. The air is cool and fresh, carrying with it the scent of wild grasses and earth. Before you rises the magnificent stone circle, its massive sarsen stones reaching toward the heavens, their surfaces weathered by millennia of wind, rain, and sun. Stonehenge as we see it today is the result of multiple construction phases spanning approximately 1,500 years, from around 3,100 BCE to 1,600 BCE. This makes the monument older than the Egyptian pyramids at Giza and contemporaneous with the earliest Sumerian cities. The dedication required to build such a structure, generation after generation, tells us something profound about the importance this site held for our ancestors. Let your mind relax as we explore the earliest phase of construction. Around 3000 BCE, Neolithic peoples created the first Stonehenge, which was not yet a stone circle, but rather a circular earthwork enclosure. They dug a circular ditch approximately 110 meters in diameter, piling the excavated chalk to create an inner and outer bank. This henge, as such earthwork enclosures are called, required the removal of approximately 3,000 cubic meters of chalk and soil, all accomplished with tools made from red deer antlers, cattle shoulder blades, and wood. Within this circular boundary, they dug 56 pits, now known as the Aubrey Holes, after John Aubrey, the 17th century antiquarian who first documented them. Recent archaeological investigations have revealed that these pits contain cremated human remains, making Stonehenge one of the largest late Neolithic cremation cemeteries in Britain. The careful placement of these remains suggests that Stonehenge served as a sacred burial ground for select members of society, perhaps those of high status or special spiritual significance. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to drift further back in time. Imagine the landscape as it was 5,000 years ago, when the climate was slightly warmer than today and the chalk downlands were still partially forested. Small farming communities had begun to transform the British landscape, clearing forests for agriculture and raising cattle, sheep, and pigs. These were people in transition, moving away from the hunter-gatherer lifestyle of their ancestors towards settled agricultural life. The second major phase of construction began around 2800 BCE, when builders erected a circle of large standing stones. But these were not the massive sarsen stones we associate with Stonehenge today. These were blue stones, smaller stones weighing between 2 and 5 tons each, transported from the Priestley Hills in southwestern Wales, a distance of approximately 240 kilometers. The logistics of this transport represent one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Recent geological studies have confirmed that these distinctive dolerite and rhyolite stones could only have come from specific outcrops in Pembrokeshire. How did Neolithic peoples move these multi-ton stones across such vast distances? The most likely explanation involves a combination of sledges, rollers, and water transport. The stones may have been dragged on wooden sledges to the Welsh coast, loaded onto rafts or boats, transported along the Bristol Channel and up the River Avon, then dragged overland for the final stretch to Salisbury Plain. This extraordinary effort tells us that these particular stones held immense significance. Perhaps they came from a sacred site in Wales, bringing spiritual power with them to their new location. Or perhaps their unique acoustic properties played a role in their selection, as recent experiments have shown that blue stones produce distinctive ringing tones when struck, leading some researchers to describe them as ringing rocks that may have had ceremonial importance. Let your breathing slow and deepen as we move forward in time to around 2500 BCE, when Stonehenge underwent its most dramatic transformation. This is when the massive sarsen stones were erected, creating the iconic structure we recognize today. These enormous blocks of silicified sandstone, weighing up to 30 tons each, were brought from the Marlborough Downs, approximately 25 kilometers to the north. The sarsen stones were carefully selected and shaped. The upright stones of the outer circle were dressed smooth on their inner faces, while their outer surfaces were left rough. Each upright stone was locked into the ground in a pit, approximately 2.5 meters deep, held in place by chalk rubble packed tightly around its base. On top of these uprights, massive horizontal lintel stones were placed, creating a continuous circle. These lintels were secured using sophisticated joinery techniques. Protruding tenons on top of the uprights fit into mortise holes carved into the undersides of the lintels, while the lintels were joined to each other using tongue and groove joints. Within this outer circle stood the magnificent trilithons, freestanding stone gateways arranged in a horseshoe pattern. These structures consist of two uprights supporting a single lintel, and they increase in height toward the center of the horseshoe, creating a dramatic focal point. The largest trilithon, which once stood at the southwestern end of the horseshoe, reaches approximately 7 meters in height and weighs over 50 tons. The precision with which these stones were shaped and erected, using only stone hammers and antler picks, demonstrates remarkable engineering skill. Feel yourself becoming more relaxed, more at ease, as we consider the astronomical alignments that make Stonehenge so extraordinary. The axis of the monument is carefully aligned with the midsummer sunrise and midwinter sunset. On the summer solstice, the sun rises directly above the heel stone, a large, unshaped sarsen, standing outside the main circle to the northeast, and its rays shine through the entrance to illuminate the center of the monument. 6 months later, on the winter solstice, the setting sun aligns with the same axis, viewed from the opposite direction. This solar alignment is so precise that it cannot be accidental. The builders of Stonehenge possess sophisticated astronomical knowledge and the mathematical ability to calculate and implement these alignments. But the astronomical connections may extend even further. Some researchers have proposed that the 56 Aubrey holes served as a computational device for predicting eclipses, though this theory remains controversial. What we can say with certainty is that Stonehenge was designed to mark the passage of time and the cycles of the heavens. Archaeological evidence tells us much about the people who built and used Stonehenge. Analysis of pig bones found at nearby Durrington Walls, a massive henge settlement probably used by workers and pilgrims, reveals that animals were brought from across Britain for feasting at midwinter. Chemical signatures in pig teeth show they came from as far away as Scotland, Wales, and southwest England. This suggests that Stonehenge drew people from across the British Isles, functioning as a pan-regional sacred center where communities gathered for ceremonies, ancestor veneration, and communal feasting. The discovery of the remains of at least 63 individuals buried at Stonehenge, many of them cremated, provides further insights. Isotope analysis of these remains shows that some individuals spent their childhoods far from Salisbury Plain, reinforcing the idea that Stonehenge attracted people from distant regions. Some of these people may have been elite members of society, perhaps priests, chiefs, or individuals with special astronomical or architectural knowledge. Let yourself sink deeper into tranquility as we explore the landscape surrounding Stonehenge. The monument does not stand in isolation, but is part of a vast sacred landscape filled with earthworks, burial mounds, and ceremonial structures. Within a few kilometers of Stonehenge, you find the Cursus, a massive elongated enclosure stretching nearly 3 kilometers across the landscape, predating Stonehenge itself. Its purpose remains mysterious, but its scale suggests it played an important ceremonial role. To the northeast lies Durrington Walls, one of the largest henge enclosures in Britain, with a diameter of approximately 500 meters. Excavations have revealed the foundations of hundreds of houses, suggesting this was a substantial settlement, possibly housing the workers who built Stonehenge during its later phases. Within Durrington Walls stood a timber circle, perhaps a wooden counterpart to the stone circles at Stonehenge, though its exact relationship to the stone monument remains unclear. The avenue, a pair of parallel ditches and banks stretching for approximately 3 kilometers from Stonehenge to the River Avon, provided a ceremonial approach to the monument. Recent geophysical surveys have revealed that the avenue follows natural chalk ridges that happen to align with the solstitial axis, suggesting that prehistoric peoples may have regarded this as a sacred pathway created by the gods or ancestors themselves. Scattered across the surrounding landscape are hundreds of burial mounds, or barrows, where Bronze Age peoples interred their dead, often with elaborate grave goods. These burials cluster around Stonehenge, suggesting that proximity to the monument conferred prestige even after its main period of use had ended. Some of the richest Bronze Age burials in Britain have been found near Stonehenge, including the grave of the Amesbury archer, buried around 2400 BCE, with a treasure trove of copper knives, gold ornaments, and tools that mark him as a person of exceptional status. Allow your mind to drift peacefully as we consider what Stonehenge might have meant to its builders. Without written records, we cannot know with certainty the beliefs and cosmology of Neolithic and Bronze Age peoples. However, by combining archaeological evidence with anthropological studies of traditional societies worldwide, we can make informed interpretations. Many archaeologists believe Stonehenge functioned as a temple, a place where earth and sky, the living and the dead, the profane and the sacred, came together. The contrast between stone and wood may have held symbolic significance. The timber structures at Durrington Walls may have represented the domain of the living, transient, and impermanent, like human life itself. The stone structures at Stonehenge, by contrast, may have symbolized the eternal realm of the ancestors and gods, unchanging and everlasting. The incorporation of cremated human remains from the earliest phases suggests ancestor veneration played a central role in Stonehenge's function. The monument may have served as a place where the living could commune with their ancestors, particularly during celestial events like solstices, when the boundary between worlds was thought to be especially permeable. The midwinter solstice, when the sun appears to stop its southern journey and begin returning north, may have been seen as a time of death and rebirth, making it especially appropriate for ancestor rituals. The healing properties attributed to the blue stones in later folklore may preserve distant memories of beliefs held by Stonehenge's builders. Geoffrey of Monmouth, writing in the 12th century, called Stonehenge the Giant's Dance and claimed the stones possessed healing powers. While we must be cautious about reading medieval legends back into prehistory, it is intriguing that these traditions associate the stone specifically with healing, given the evidence that people traveled long distances to visit the site. Take another deep breath and let yourself become even more relaxed. Imagine standing within the stone circle at dawn on the summer solstice. The massive stones surround you, their surfaces cool to the touch, their weight and permanence creating a sense of protection and sacred enclosure. The sky above begins to lighten, shifting from deep indigo to pale blue. The first birds begin their morning songs. A sense of ancient peace pervades this place. As the sun's edge appears above the horizon, perfectly aligned with the entrance to the circle, its golden rays stream through the gaps between the stones, illuminating the center of the monument. For a moment, the stones seem to glow with inner light. You feel connected to the countless generations who stood in this same spot, watching this same celestial event, feeling the same sense of wonder and connection to something vast and eternal. Modern scientific analysis continues to reveal new insights about Stonehenge. Laser scanning has documented surface details invisible to the naked eye, including Bronze Age axe carvings on some of the sarsen stones. These carved images, showing the types of axes used around 1500 BCE, may represent votive offerings or markers of identity left by visitors to the site. Ground-penetrating radar and magnetometry surveys have detected previously unknown features in the landscape surrounding Stonehenge, including a massive arc of pits near Durrington Walls that may mark another ceremonial boundary. Each new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, bringing us closer to understanding this remarkable monument while reminding us how much remains mysterious. The abandonment of Stonehenge as an active ceremonial center, probably sometime after 1600 BCE, marks another mystery. The monument was not destroyed or defaced, but simply ceased to be maintained and actively used. Perhaps changes in religious belief, shifts in political power, or population movements led to its decline. The monument remained visible and impressive, becoming the subject of legends and speculation through the Roman period, the Middle Ages, and into modern times. Romans visiting Britain left coins and other offerings at Stonehenge, showing that even they regarded it with reverence. Medieval peoples believed it was the work of giants, or the wizard Merlin. Early modern antiquarians proposed theories ranging from the plausible to the fantastical, attributing it variously to Druids, Romans, Danes, and Phoenicians. It was not until the development of radiocarbon dating in the mid-20th century that Stonehenge's true antiquity became clear. Let your body relax completely now. Feel the tension flowing out of your muscles, starting with your feet and moving upward through your legs, your torso, your arms, your neck, and your face. You are completely at ease, floating peacefully in time and space, connected to the ancient past and the eternal present. Now let us take a moment for meditation and reflection. Focus on your breath, breathing in slowly and deeply through your nose, holding for a moment, then exhaling slowly through your mouth. As you breathe, imagine yourself absorbing the ancient peace of Stonehenge, the wisdom of countless generations who lived in closer connection with the earth and sky than we do today. Imagine roots growing from your body down into the earth, connecting you with the chalk bedrock beneath Stonehenge, with the stones themselves, with the remains of the ancestors who rest within the monument. Feel yourself becoming part of that eternal cycle of life and death, growth and decay, light and darkness. You are part of something vast and ancient, a chain of beings stretching back to the very origins of humanity and forward to generations yet unborn. As we prepare to conclude our journey, consider what Stonehenge teaches us about human nature and our relationship with the world around us. Despite lacking metal tools, machinery, or draft animals, Neolithic peoples created a monument that has endured for over 4,000 years. They worked in harmony with the materials available to them, shaping stone and earth with patience and skill. They observed the heavens with careful attention, learning the patterns that govern the passage of seasons and the cycles of celestial bodies. Stonehenge reminds us that human beings have always sought connection with something greater than themselves. Whether we call it the divine, the ancestors, the cosmos, or simply the awesome majesty of nature. It reminds us that we are part of an unbroken chain of human experience, stretching back tens of thousands of years. The same stars that the builders of Stonehenge watched still shine above us. The same sun rises and sets, marking the passage of days and seasons. As you drift towards sleep, carry with you the peace and wisdom of Stonehenge. Remember the patience of those ancient builders, working stone by stone toward a vision they would never see completed. Remember their connection to earth and sky, to the rhythms of nature, to each other. Remember that you too are part of something vast and enduring, that your actions ripple forward in time, affecting people and places you will never know. Good night, fellow traveler. May your dreams be peaceful and your sleep be deep.